here we are. With everything said and done, yeah. If you don't have a terrorist in your house, you will never know your source of delays. So for that, I deeply apologize on the princess's behalf for the late start. Okay, it is the 29th of June, the eve of the day that everybody has been talking about for a very long time. Extremely tumultuous. We did not just make news as South Africa in the country, but worldwide as well, and especially in the diaspora in Africa, the backlash we've been receiving. You mentioned it, okay? We've been taking it. It's been thrown at us, all from a call by ordinary South Africans who decided that they are going to come together. They are going to look into the issue of us as a nation, experiencing an influx of illegal immigrants, okay, especially black, obviously from the diaspora, and a couple of accusations have been leveled, or reasons for that have been leveled, starting from expired food at shopping malls, people that are undocumented taking jobs of ordinary South Africans. It's been quite a lot when it comes to crime stats as well. It's been a bit of a challenge in South Africa. So yeah, it is that day, and I remember talking to a friend of mine yesterday. He's like, okay, cool. I look forward to the podcast today, and yeah, I look forward to the podcast today. I'm like, why? I'm like, I know how passionate you've been about this topic and the views you hold. Yeah, so it's gonna. Well, I'm gonna try my level best not to be triggered, by a couple of things that we are going to talk about as far as that is concerned. And that is the 30th of June, the day that March and March and all other civil organizations came together and said that no, enough is enough. As far as I'm concerned, it was very clear from these groups that they are looking to be non-violent. They will look, and they have been looking after their people, reprimanding those who actually commit crimes, because of the opportunity, and people who are looting. And this is all stuff that evades a lot of people that have come up as far as politicians are concerned, as far as law enforcement agencies and all of, and all of these. And to an extent, the way that these guys have been working closely with ordinary South Africans, it got to a point where people from the diaspora were accusing, people from Africa were accusing the South African police to be complicit, to be aiding and abetting this xenophobic attacks, Afrophobic attacks on foreigners. While when I look at it, the police are there, the people are there to police, to have the police assist them, because when it started, it was a bit shaky. People were getting, asked to close their shops. And obviously, a lot of people went back to the Constitution, looked at people's rights, human rights. You can't just close a place. You can't just tell a person to go home. There are laws. To an extent, they got to a point where they were going and doing these raids, along with Home Affairs officials, with inspectors, people who were supposed to do this all along since 1994, so that we don't end up with a situation like we are ending up with. To an extent, the president has even said that like they're going to be a group of thousands of people that are going to be employed. Like, what on earth were you waiting for? Because this thing has been there, it's been brewing. But anyway, as I said, I don't want to be triggered. I don't want to be triggered, but it's also look to give you another side, another perspective, because a lot of people have come up and they really have been I don't even have words for it. But the one thing, though, for sure, on this season 2, episode 37 of the podcast, I really would like to get your views on the 30th, on tomorrow. What are your expectations? Are you going to the march? And I don't know whether you noticed, my South African flag is here. My other one, the big one that I am wearing tomorrow, um, the one that I'm wearing tomorrow at the march is right over there. If I get a chance, I'll show you. All right. And a person asked me, why am I marching? I am marching because I'm a patriotic South African. I am more than a broadcaster, more than audio production, whatever you want to call all of these things, entrepreneur. At the heart, I am a South African. When the people are on the street, I think we should be there when you feel that what they are fighting for is justified. And I think it took a long time for government to come around. Even Abu Figile came. Now they're seeing this whole thing. Yeah, people are coming from other countries and blah, blah, blah. Some are committing crimes. And this is what these people have been saying for the longest time ever. But we're going to credit government's ignorance, you know. Their reactivity, like ness, when it comes to issues. Why must you wait until it gets to this point? You know, because over and above, somebody is also asking, why is it that you are not going after white people of foreign origin? Why are you not marching in Kemps Bay? Why are you not marching in Northcliffe? Why are you not marching in Umhlanga? The truth of the matter is the people who are feeling the brunt are the people in the townships. That is the people who get sold expired food. It is the people who come from the township who have girls that get prostituted. It is people in the townships who are not favored to get jobs because South Africans, one thing about them, and I said this in the previous episode as well, is that this country is extremely developed when you look at the rest of Africa. So that means when it comes to employment, work policies, HR matters, South Africa has always been abreast. You know, South Africans say that, like, listen, I don't want seasonal work in Stellenbosch. When you want me to go pick your grapes and then you pay me peanuts, along with the peanuts, you give me alcohol as if my kids are going to eat alcohol. South Africans have been knowing this. Okay. And this is what they've been rejecting. But what we've had people from other parts of the country, yes, for whatever reasons that they came into the country for. First of all, the first violation is that they come in illegally. The second thing is that they take up these jobs that South Africans are saying no to. And South Africans are not saying no to these jobs because they are not in need of jobs. We all know very well, it's documented. The whole unemployment issue in South Africa. It is to say that you are not going to pay me peanuts. I am not going to accept 1,300 when the minimum wage is 3,000 rand. So these people come in, take on these jobs, and get treated like dirt, which is how the most of these businesses that are still in white hands were treating black people during apartheid. So you telling black people that they are lazy when they don't want the same thing that was experienced by their parents. Migrant labor. You know what I mean? So there are all kinds of issues and dynamics as far as this is concerned. And I think I have to say this before we even start with the show. It's going to be very short. It's a few stories, but I really want to talk on the issue. And I really would like to get your opinion as well, wherever you might be. It's very simple. You just, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just go to the comment section and probably share your experiences, your thoughts about the 30th. What do you think should, what do you think? I know that like on certain social media platforms, this has been ventilated by the organizers in terms of what's going to happen, by Abo Pegelum Tagati, saying that the petition, we want it to go to the president. We want the president to receive it and nobody else. And the question stands. I think before I came on the broadcast, I haven't seen anything where the president says that he will be available to take it. It is a national issue, so I understand them calling for the first citizen to receive it. And they said if he can't make it, so obviously somebody higher up from parliament or wherever, but someone close to him, they don't want the deputy president, they don't want the minister, they don't want an MEC, they don't want a mayor, they don't want a councillor, they want the first citizen. Okay. Very interesting as well is that, like, I'm if you follow me on Facebook, the tone that started off talking at South Africans, the communication that was coming from the acting minister of police, the deputy minister, you name them, the minister in the presidency, the tone of it all was irking. It was fueling. But one thing that I would like to say is that South Africans have remained calm about it. They've remained calm about it. They have not threatened violence, and all of these things. They just say, we want our peaceful march. And I think if you go and look on most social media platforms, and it's been covered as well, people in Soweto, for that matter, they started marching yesterday and they marched today. All of those were peaceful. There was a march in, I think, Mowbray, if I'm not mistaken, in Salt River. In Cape Town. I know there was a march in Cape Town. That was also peaceful. This is what the people said. If you as government cannot take the word that comes from your citizens, all right, and you've seen evidence of them behaving, why must you fuel? Why must you pour petrol in the fire? Right? That has been part of my gripe as far as that is concerned. And there are a lot of people, Pan-Africanists, oh, my Pan-Africanist people, my Pan-Africanist friends, brothers and sisters, you have missed it so flipping much. I think it's been the rhetoric from people now, people who are supposed to be standing. I'm asking people in Gqeberha, they are busy fighting the Chinese company BAIC there. You are nowhere near going to negotiate with BAIC and saying that, listen, you're gonna pay our people. I don't care what you do in China. You're gonna pay them the minimum wage. You're gonna pay them what you agreed to. Do you know what I mean? Instead of doing that and fighting for workers or South Africans, you go and you jump on the bandwagon of talking about ordinary South Africans being vigilantes. Are you flipping crazy? Are you okay? You were booed by your own people. Because over and above everything else, the beautiful thing about this entire period is that you've seen people from all walks of life. I think it's SACDP, the Christian political party. The president came out and said, we are in support of people as long as it's done peacefully. That's all you needed to do. Instead of gaslighting citizens, there will be no shutdown. You guys come from apartheid, yeah. Yes. When we said as a Kwelwa, when we said no one buys from a town, what happened? Automatically, the economy is going to be affected because transport is not going to be moving. Yes, there was a bit of intimidation of people back then. Those who were arrogant. That is not the case these days. That doesn't happen. You don't find people who say that, like, okay, there's a stay away. I'm scared to go to work. They might stop me. No, South Africans don't do that. But you decided to gaslight people and go on so many times telling South Africans that there's not going to be a shutdown. Guess what? I am going to go through some of the places that are going to have marches. Obviously, the businesses around those areas are going to be affected. That speaks to the economy taking a dent. Traffic is going to be disrupted on the roads that the marches are going to be on. That's some level of shutdown. I don't know what you think. You think like a coup? No, it's not that. At the end of the day, when they look at they close the JSE stock exchange tomorrow, that pinch is going to be felt. I'm sure the rand is affected right now. And guess where that comes from? It comes from an arrogant government that would not sit with March and March because they have links to Zuma, they have links to the far left, they have links to all of these things. Engage your people, respect them. They voted you, they put you right the fuck where you are. I promised I am not going to be I am not going to gaslight my own self or be triggered about this whole thing. But to find a lot of these people that are like, I'm Pan-Africanist, how can you do this to another African? Somebody said something very interesting and true as well. These people come from their countries. What are they running away from? They are running away from their corrupt from their corrupt politicians. They are corrupt governments, right? Who do not do anything for them except take money from the resources that get raped from their countries and get sent to the east, to the west. And then they come and they come to South Africa. They say those people are lawless. Those people are corrupt. Those people, the first thing you do, this person says, when you enter the country, you are breaking the South African law by coming in bribing, by coming in undocumented. So you are coming to corrupt this country because you're running away from fighting for your country. Let us be honest about it. And I've said this, 4 main tribes in Nigeria, over 200 million population. You are fighting what, 3,000? How many people, members of Boko Haram are there? Can't you organize yourselves to make sure that your women and children don't get raped, don't get abducted, go fight in your country? This is what South Africans are calling for. It's very crazy. I was watching some other guy from Nigeria. Yeah, I'm here, you South African lazy people. You don't know what Saint is. I'm at Saint, and Saint is some plush nightlife place. And I'm thinking to myself, you would rather be in South Africa, take a video of you in front of Saint talking about, yeah, South African boys, this one is for big boys. And I'm asking myself, how are your people back in Nigeria? Your wife, your kids, your family. Shouldn't you be there fighting instead of coming to talk nonsense about opulence in another country? Right? We look at business in South Africa. Has it done anything to assist? No, it hasn't. There was a lady, white lady, who was busy crying. Oh, I've employed people from Zimbabwe for the last 20 years. They are decent. They are neat. They treat people well. They do this. Did you mention the fact that you pay them freaking peanuts? And the fact that they don't have a choice, but because they can't go and complain. They can't go to the CCMA. They can't join a union. And part of the very same white businesses, you will find they will employ these people, keep them for a month or two, promise them to hike up their money. And when they start complaining, they report them without paying them. These issues have happened here. This government, this is business, they've been complicit. The fact that it's only now Minister Schreiber at Home Affairs is implementing everything under the sun to make sure that the things are corrected. Customs is only fixing things now. What were you waiting for all of this time? This is where it's crazy for me. This is where I don't understand. I'm actually just even going to jump to that particular thing that I saw. This reject shutdown, protect South Africa. This comes from the Ahmad Kathrada Foundation. You fought all of those years for you not to understand that foundation, not to understand when people say that we have had enough. We don't want this. We are feeling the corn. The very same corn we felt during apartheid. And we were able to come together as South Africans, march against the government that was arrogant at the time. And today you want to talk about that. Reject the shutdown? Reject the shutdown? Are you well? Are you okay? What are you complaining about? You've taken the narrative that comes from other people that talks about being xenophobic. You are not xenophobic. And I asked a question, speaking to one of my elders, a person that I respect a lot. And we were talking about this issue. And here's the whole thing. Is it okay for us? It looks like we are missing the point. The enemy is white capital. The enemy is white businesses, the white foreigners that came in 1652, 1994, and even recently, the former president of this country, Thabo Mbeki, well respected to an extent, he confessed that when the issue of land redistribution, the African National Congress that had 2/3 majority at the time, no contest, no competition, they could have changed the constitution of this country to make sure that those are addressed. That did not happen. That did not happen. And right now, it is a conversation that is still at the back of South Africans. But right now, the corn is scores and scores that you saw being ferried back to their countries of Africans, fellow Africans, brothers and sisters I love with all my heart, that came into the country illegally, that were happy to be exploited, making it impossible for South Africans to get those jobs. Because the South Africans are going to say, I'm not going to take 1,500 rand. You know what the law says. Because we are at that country. So to come and talk, oh my gosh, Pan-Africanism. This conversation has been there for decades. How much teeth does the African Union have? Are they using it? African leaders come together, they do this thing ceremoniously and all of that. Nobody is moving towards talking about the resources of the country, of the continent. What's the approach? So now, you live behind gated communities. You are privileged. You're not feeling the pain of people that are sitting in Soweto, people that are sitting in Tanzania, people that are sitting Walanga, people who are ravaged by the cold conditions and no way to warm up or to have food in Khayelitsha, in Cape Town, in Philippi, and all of those places. You want to talk about African? Are you going to leave your kid here at home and go and go next door and say that actually my kids, I'm going to leave my kids here. They were complaining. My baby was crying. But the baby next door is crying as well. Let me go next door. Simply because you're going to be walking out with some fruit or whatever. So people can see how good of a person you are and you can't take care of home. So escape me with the Pan-Africanism talk on this issue. And March and March have been saying, let's fix our country, give us space. While you're doing so, make sure that you get properly documented to come back into the country. We are going to deal with our government because that's part of the primary reason this started. It wasn't about chasing black Africans away from South Africa. It was about dealing with a corrupt government to the freaking core. And it is something that we need to be fucking honest about. The South African government, democratic, that's what I'm going to speak of because I couldn't give two shits about apartheid. Those people hated me and they had no reason to come and explain shit or to make promises to me. This one that made promises to me. This one that said that we will give you jobs. This one that said that we will take your kids to school for free. Yes, you've done fucking bare minimum. Take a look at the 600 million or whatever in the Tembisa hospital. That is one hospital. If you were to go into all the hospitals in South Africa, you will find out that there is a Ket Matlala whose God is Indian, whose God is either person or is a white person, who makes sure that they aid and abet and they are in the background. If you were to go to a Livingston Hospital in PE right now, wouldn't you find a similar thing? You go to Grooteskier in Cape Town. You go to Cecilia Makiwane in East London. Are you not going to find this? Now, you look at the amounts of money that gets siphoned by people who parade as business people. This is what we are talking about as South Africans when we say that. Leave us for a while. Let's fix our country. In the interim, make sure that you get proper documentation. I have a good friend of mine, Michelle Campbell, in PE, was complaining about a guy that worked for him, was from Zimbabwe. And he followed up, was like, I want to call his parents back in Zim to tell him that I'm going to facilitate him going back. So they've got people that care about them, that they've worked for 20 years. Now go home, get proper documentation, and call your former bosses to hire you again. Having come into the country legally. My gosh, I'm spending so much time on this. But that's where it is. That is why I'm taking off my professional hat tomorrow. And I am joining the people of South Africa. Because once again, primarily, the call is for government to make sure that we don't have porous borders. Refugee camps everywhere else, they are near the borders. It is only in South Africa that they say, okay, cool, come, we've seen your passport, go to the refugee thingy in Pretoria. The process was done away from the borders. If you're an asylum seeker and you go into Zimbabwe, you go into another country, you get processed right there. And we have not done that. And I can understand to an extent. You say you want to be, the darling of democracy. You trust people are actually going to go from the border and do that. It has not happened. But all we've seen is corruption from customs, from border control, from border officials, from home affairs officials. This is what we say we want you to deal with as government. Do you get it? Does it sink in now? Does it? And to be patronizing as much as you have to be and condescending to the South African public. People I freaking respected, people I thought stood for something. You want to start talking about Africa for Africa? Flipping what? For flipping what? If your home doesn't have bread, but you want to buy 2 loaves of bread and parade the street and go give it to your neighbors because they're going to clap hands for you and say that you're a good neighbor while you are being a messed up parent at home. Come on, people. But anyway, yeah, I think the rant is over now. I hope it is. Very interesting. Madlanga Commission to decide on FEROZ Khan testimony after the shooting incident. Now, this is a very interesting story. This is like me now sliding out of the whole thing so that I can come down and talk about all else that's happening. He was supposed to, I think tomorrow, he was supposed to be at Madlanga, but a shooting incident happened after watching the Bafana Bafana game on his way home, after meeting with the lawyers to go through the preparation. Don't want to call it defense or their statements rather, because it's not a court of law. You know, he gets shot by people in a Mercedes Benz in the abdomen. His phone gets taken, his laptop gets taken, and he's rushed to the hospital. And I'm sure everybody and a lot of people have we've seen this script before. We've seen this one before. Right? And to think that he actually showed us the hand. He told us about this script long before yesterday came, when he was busy going to the court of law to fight for his devices, saying that if those devices get opened by investigators, if anything happens to it, people see the information, privileged information that is there, people are going to die. They're going to be assassinations. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. And chances of the very same thing that you were worried about happens to you, okay, when you are expected to testify to come to the Madlanga Commission, where your name has been raised a plethora of times. Like, your name was there on a lot that has to do with illegal activity. The clearance that you were claiming you have at security level, you don't have. These are the things that have come out. How are you getting all of this access? But anyway, speedy recovery, my dog. Madlanga will be waiting for you. It ends in August, I think. I hope it gets extended because it's doing a phenomenal job. It's doing a very phenomenal job. And part of that phenomenal job has been where people like this are concerned. This is the craziest thing. Who admits 60K found at drug scene was meant for bribes. Aye. That's the Madlanga Commission for you. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, dude over here. Oh man, when he came out and he was talking like he's a hacker and blah, 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 and all of that stuff, I'm like, no, I've never come across anybody who says I'm a hacker on my job. What do you do at work? They'll tell you I'm in IT. Nobody will confess they're freaking hackers. Try to bamboozle, to dribble the commission with terminology and all of that stuff. But one thing about Madlanga, they're going to let you have your moment. And after that, when they start posing questions at you, oh, nigga, you're going to wish you did not, you hadn't gone there. So that's where he's sitting, being asked like a whole lot of questions, like the links. And the crazy thing about it, like he's had aliases as well that he has used. This businessman here who took 60,000 rand and never used it on accommodation, never used it at the what do they call them, at the toll gates for his visit on that particular day that he took, or he was found with 64,000 rand around in his car. And finally, he's admitted, hey, man, this thing was meant to pay people. Okay, sure. So it's doing a phenomenal job, if you're asking me. Now, jumping over and looking at like other people as well. This is another very interesting one. This is gonna be very interesting. ANC Action SA demand probe into DA state capture claims involving Tony Leon. and Starlink. Now, this stems from a News 24 interview with what is his name? Steenhuisen, the former minister, well, soon to be former minister of agriculture in South Africa. Very telling, very it compromised the Democratic Alliance a lot, that interview. So links were found to be there where companies that had Tony Leon had asked to meet with him as minister to resolve their import and export businesses. I think the company is called Revolve. And where Steenhuisen at some point was like, hey guys, I don't think this is ethical. Like, why come to me? You know, even when he met up with the Starlink people saying that, listen, man, talk to the Minister of Communication. Tell him to loosen up his wrist, eh? We want to enter South Africa, okay? We really need Starlink back in there. Come on now, guys. So that's very, yeah, he speaks like that now, Steenhuisen. He's got a list. Very nice guy. But anyway, yeah, so that exploded, by the way, if you missed it. So there are all these revelations about how the DA works to an extent that he made those accusations. And I think it was very interesting to hear him talk about the visits to the White House and where he stood, you know, where he said, I'll stand with the president. Is it sane for me as a South African? Yes, I come from DA. I'm opposed to the African National Congress. Like, we are day and night. But does it make sense for me to go to foreign land and go talk down or dirty about my president to a president of another country? So it was a very interesting one. It would have been nice to find out what your thoughts are about that. But those are the revelations that have come out. Like Steenhuisen is saying, like, hey, yeah. So there's a probe that's they're gonna get in there. I think just to end it off, I had like two more stories, man, before we get out of this one. Starting right here, the KZN traditional leaders back the 30th June protest, but warn that violence will betray the cause. This is all that the South African fucking government was being asked for. This is all South Africans were looking to get from you, Fikile Mbalula, who went on a fucking rant like you still back in the ANC Youth League, freaking Heineken's at bars and stuff. For the job that you occupy, this is how you drive a message. You don't talk shit. You cannot afford to speak from your hip. You know, when a person, like, I don't know how I can liken it to. When you get given a script that comes from the African National Congress saying, this is our stand as far as this is concerned. Yours should have been to stick to the script and stop all the rants about everything else. You are hurting the African National Congress more than it is hurt. The PTT in the Eastern Cape, you implemented. It is hurting the African National Congress because you are deviating. Oh, but then again, you called yourself the freaking boss, didn't you? I feel sorry. A lot of people think I hate freaking ANC. I have extreme reservations about it, especially the recent crop of a typical African National Congress comrade. It's almost like it flipped. There were always rogue elements from the beginning, but there were few of them. It's like over the decades, the script has been turned around where you've got far more people who have no interest as far as the African National Congress is concerned. It has hurt a lot of people who are patriotic, who love the organization. It has done a lot of damage to ordinary South Africans who expected a lot more from a black liberating political party. That is what you have done up until now. You go to the provinces now, you're going to find that there's a fight in Kukompo, there's a fight in Lusikisiki, there's a fight in Thingy, because you couldn't stick to the script, to your very same policy, and make sure that when it's your time, when your time is up, when you've served, make way for others. It's very simple things, but then again, some of you and most of you are flipping crooks. Most of you have freaking crazier skeletons in the closet. Most of you are extremely rogue and just criminals who rape the resources of this country. The collusion. But anyway, I'm calm still about it, right? But we move on. Now, one of the things that the president came out and did, which was very dumb, if you ask me, it was calling on traditional leaders to actually assist government to deal with the 30th of June. What the fuck do you mean? In South Africa, there is only the KZN king. That is paramount. That is recognized, really, if we were to be honest, excuse me, by the South African government. All the others, it's probably a 4x4 here, a 4x4 there, around elections. And now you are calling on the very same person you stripped of power. That you stripped of power, gave it to councillors who are killing each other left, right, and center right now. Took that away from traditional leaders. And now you are calling on them? How? Guys, I'm going to play you the video of the president of Contralesa responding to that call from the president about assisting.
Leadership, thanks very much for having me. This was not the first meeting. It's clear that this is a sign of panic from government. A sign of panic because we met with the deputy president, we met the president, and there are other meetings from provinces. We have seen even the so-called interministerial committee. This is just a sign of panic. The question, leadership, is that why only now? If they felt traditional leaders can play a role, they should have consulted traditional leadership, kings and queens, long time ago. So now we can say that they just want to use our kings and traditional leaders as fire extinguishers. The question is, why are they not returning back those powers of traditional leaders so that we are able to assist them, knowing that, by the way, this is our function? They usurped all the powers from the kings and queens and traditional leaders. Now we are just ceremonial leaders. And now they want us to come in to assist in extinguishing this fire. Yes, as leaders in our communities, we appreciate that finally they are waking up to spill the coffee and say, by the way, they are traditional leaders. But I think, my leader, it is too late. Why are they panicking? All people are saying, my leader, is that those who are here legally, let them stay and enjoy South African breeze. But those who are illegal, all people are saying, let them go home, go and fix your documents. You can come back knowing that you are now legal. Finish and clear.
Finish and clear, my nigga. I mean, my leader. I'm sorry. Jeebus, putting words into the elders, man. Talking so much sense. Basically, reiterating what I was sharing with you. After all of these years of neglecting these people, of denying them their status in their homesteads, villages, and regions. You are calling on them. Oh, it's probably called desperation, right? I think it is called desperation when you do that. And I think that was a fitting response to say that too late, can't come to us now. Yeyele mhlekazi. Yeyele. Kubi. It's your making. June 30th shutdown live updates. I picked up on a couple people as far as those are concerned. They're going to be like quite a number of roads and all kinds of stuff happening tomorrow. So as I told you, Soweto had started yesterday with some marches, and they continue today. No incidents were reported from those, even the one in Cape Town as well. I've got a very interesting story from Cape Town to end off. It's going to be very interesting. Now, they say that foreign nationals in Durban have told IOL, which is our source of choice for our news, they will be closing their shops on Tuesday as the so-called deadline issued by an anti-immigrant group for undocumented foreigners to leave the country takes effect. Call it whatever you want to. It is happening. The 30th is in a couple of hours. And it's going to happen. So they say that, we will protect our businesses, which is what I was talking about, that like it's actually going to affect the economy. Okay. Because that money is not going to be rung up at the stock exchange tomorrow. Okay. When it closes. And that is Durban. Yeah, a lot of people that run shops there, they're saying like, we're going to close down in our shops. We don't want problems. Now, the Tshwane Metro Police Department, TMPD, yes, the famous one, the very famous one for corruption, warned motorists to brace for major traffic disruptions across the city on June 30th, meaning tomorrow, as the March and all the other organizations will be leading those different marches. They say that long queues formed at the old the drive-in site in Durban on Monday. There's a large-scale repatriation operation involving more than 19,000 people in the country undocumented. And you're like, no, it doesn't put strain on resources. They leave without people. They go to the same day hospital. Okay. Just remember such. Yeah, so those are some of the issues expected. I think like the Durban government is busy trying to rush to process as many people as possible to make sure that they leave before tomorrow. And now the city of Ekurhuleni says it is fully prepared for the planned march tomorrow, Tuesday, with Executive Mayor Nkosindipile Xhakaza urging protesters to exercise their constitutional rights peacefully and within the law. Yeah. So those are some of the stuff that's making rounds as far as it's concerned. So they're going to be road closures. If I were you, on WhatsApp groups, on social media platforms, on websites that update your area, make sure that you go to them and you see which roads are going to be closed. Those people who are going to work tomorrow, so that you are not disrupted or you don't find yourself in a traffic jam and probably lose your shit, as they say. Okay, so make sure that you are safe as far as that is concerned. And I think just to end it off, my second last has been very upsetting. Oh my gosh, my wife was I'm sure she cried. She went into the bath. Honey, are you fine? Yes, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, cool. No, sometimes. And I'm sure a lot of people were hurt. Look, I was upset as well. At Bafana losing yesterday, getting knocked out of the 32 group elimination stages of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in the United States of America, being beaten by a co-host country, Canada. It's very interesting because these games were tricky. This is what I was saying. The first team we played was a host country, right? A country that we played was Mexico. Like, what were the chances that we were gonna like flipping. Can you imagine mentally as a player playing against the host nation, right? Okay, but anyway, that happened. Yeah, and yesterday we lost that one. And here we are. And of course, one thing I kept on consistently saying is how this old man right here, Hugo Bruce, has been like his kukukazi with the team, building his team from the ground up, a team that nobody gave chance to, a team that nobody went to the stadium to go watch play, where people didn't even know who the players in the team who were on the team were, to where South Africa and he took South Africa to where it is right now. That was phenomenal, and it takes a very special kind of individual, a very special kind of commitment. There have been a lot of frustrations. Us as a nation frustrated with him, with the players he's fielding, but that's the nature of the game. You'll remember there were also racist or racial allegations leveled against him and all of that. But it's been kind of like smooth. He was given, the resources that he needed, and he did not waste them. He used them. He made sure that we are proud as a country with a whole lot of history made during this 2026. In so much that the old man was saying, leading up to the World Cup, that it is his last. He is fucking off after the World Cup. But it looks like he has changed his mind, and now he says that, like, I'm going to see. I'm gonna decide in the next few days if I am staying in South Africa. I'm taking the opportunity to lead this beautiful team of beautiful, talented the young stars in the soccer fraternity in South Africa. So we're gonna wait with bated breath. It would be interesting. I would have loved to hear from you if you felt that Hugo should stay, or should we look at someone else? And I saw that people have been putting up Bafana No Pizzo, and a host of other, Abu Penny McCarthy, to take over from Hugo Bruce, and all of that. And my question is, would that suffice? Would that work for us as South Africans? Right? Because as I said, Hugo has this different approach. You can see that it's a father talking to his children. They give him the respect. They give him the discipline, and all of these things. And also given what a person had commented about, that, like, as South Africans, we don't respect each other. If we're going to have a South African coach, is that going to work? Come on. We've got people that are coaching in the diaspora and elsewhere in the world. Shouldn't we give them a chance, or to work with Hugo Bruce? The least that could have been done, or that could be done, is like, okay, cool. We keep you on leading up to the World Cup so that you can groom somebody else. But he's been doing that with his head coach, assistant coach, So it's very interesting. It would be nice to hear you putting it in the comments to tell us what your thoughts are. Should Hugo stay on, or should we move on, growing the country in, the boys into the next one. Don't forget, a reminder as I end this one off, ladies in pajama night for single women. This is hosted by the queen of the podcast, okay, the first lady of the podcast, Tobeka Msengana. There, the details there, ladies. Check them out. And make sure that you make your booking. She had explained what the whole event is all about. It's about women coming together, single women, okay, sharing their issues, coming up with solutions and all of this stuff. It looks like it's going to be a very interesting and beautiful one. So if you are interested, you are in the So make sure that you acquaint yourself with the event and book and go. And those people who are asking me about other provinces, she said that this is a soft launch, this particular one. After that, she will decide where she is going. Cape Town and Joburg. I know that, there was a lot of feedback from such people. So be on the lookout for that particular one. I think for me, myself, and I at this point in time, I'm left with saying thank you to you for joining me this evening. For some people, we will see each other at the march tomorrow. We will see each other at the march tomorrow, South Africans. And I pray, I don't pray, I meditate, I talk to my ancestors that we are orderly, we are not violent, and that we get the job done. We've covered a lot of ground with all the criticism in the world. It's very funny that the criticism was not only coming from other African countries, the people that were being repatriated and all. It came from very well-respected organizations and corners of the South African community. But then again, that is democracy. Everybody is entitled to their opinions, to express themselves, to associate themselves or not. That is fine. And I think that is the beauty of this country. And that's something that we should not take for granted, how blessed we are. There are countries you can't speak like I do about the president out of frustration, or like about a minister, or about, a higher ranking official or whatever, You're not allowed to do that. You'll be tossed in jail. So these are some of the freedoms that we enjoy and that we are using, and making sure that we are heard and that we fix our country. And I think tomorrow is about South Africans exercising that very right, to fix their country. It's very crazy. I think I remember our first episode this year. That was my prediction that 2026 South Africans are going to fix their country. And look at this now. Tomorrow we are here. We are here. There have been intimidations and all kinds of stuff that our people suffered. But tomorrow, let's go show them what we are made of in South Africa. We managed to fend off and fight the apartheid regime that killed us in droves. We are not new to being threatened by people who lead us, just from them ignoring what we ask of them, because we put them there. The people put you there for you to lead, to take their wishes and their ambitions seriously, implement them so that they can lead a better life, so that they can be stand-up citizens that can contribute to the economy of the country. When you stifle them like this, it doesn't work. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Slyso signing out. We will see each other next Monday. It might even be sooner because, I've been chisega in wanting to tell you about what happened at the march tomorrow. So, but in the meantime, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a very wonderful Monday, as well as a very productive week. Until then, I'm out.